to the End of the Internet podcast. I am your host, Gonzalo, and if you found us, well, congratulations. You've made your way to the end of the internet. On today's episode, Marcus and I will be discussing his utter disdain of the movie Thor Ragnarok, which was a topic that he brought to my attention, and it was something that was very intriguing. It piqued my interest, and I really wanted to know what his major gripes with the film were, seeing how it is universally loved and praised. I remember watching the film a couple of times and thinking, I really want to talk to Marcus about this film. I think he's really going to enjoy it. And when we did initiate that conversation, I was completely taken aback. We had a lot of fun recording this episode. We did it kind of late in the evening, and there's a bit of an echo. We got a little loud. Our recording studio was completely empty, so we were a bit more animated than normal. We just wanted to thank everyone for listening. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing. All of the encouragement and support we've received over the past couple of months has been fantastic. And I also wanted to send a shout out to my friend Gabe, who had some End of the Internet coasters produced for us as a Christmas gift and an encouragement gift. So Gabe, thank you so much. That was very thoughtful, and they are very impressive. They're super well made, and it brought tears to my eyes. But without further delay, here's our discussion on Thor Ragnarok and the things we liked and the things we didn't about said movie. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Have a good night. Okay, so tonight we are convening to discuss something that I found to be ridiculously interesting. After talking over with Marcus, come to find out that he doesn't like Thor Ragnarok.
That is an understatement.
And that really surprised me. And so he kind of like brought it up as a topic, like maybe we should talk about Thor Ragnarok because I really don't like it. And that was so interesting to me. I just had to know. I don't know how much of this is going to be me talking, because I need to know. So we're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok. I really like the movie. I enjoy it a little less each time I watch it. Law of diminishing returns, maybe. I don't know. But I really enjoy the movie. And you didn't. So
I didn't. Okay, so let me start off by saying that most times, 95% of the time, me and Gonzalo see eye to eye in a lot of movies, especially in the comic book realm. We were kind of like, oh, I like that thing. Oh, no, I liked it. Yeah, even with movies that are usually panned, like a lot of people don't like Man of Steel, and we love Man of Steel. It's like, we see the flaws, of course, but we also get what they were trying to do. You know, certain movies we see eye to eye, and every once in a while there's a moment where we don't, and it is very interesting to both of us, because I'm over here going, why do you like it, versus him and the why do I like it or don't like it.
Usually when we disagree about something, it's like opposite ends of the field. We're not even, like, it's not like, oh, I kind of liked it and you kind of didn't. Yeah. It's always like, I fucking loved it and I fucking hated it.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of them. So when I thought about the idea of doing the Thor RatherNot episode of the podcast, I was just trying to like really go, wait, was I just being a hater? Like, but there is no hater, because I love the Marvel movies. They're not all good. But there are some movies that I really enjoy.
Some are forgettable.
Yeah, some are extremely forgettable. And then it's not a DC fanboy thing either, because there's a lot of DC movies I do not like. There are a lot of ones that I have problems with. I can't stand BVS. I really hate what they did with my favorite characters, and don't even get me fucking started on Lex. Yeah. But or Doomsday for that. God damn it. But anyways,
right? Which is
yeah. So I mean,
or Mercy.
So it's oh my god.
Or Jimmy Olsen.
Stop it. What if we make Jimmy Olsen this like kind of sexy badass? Like he's a CIA agent dude. Like shut up. Just shut up.
What's funny is that they got like KG Beast just as wrong as everyone else, but nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, like, no one cared. Yeah, it took me like a second time watching it. Go, that's supposed to be KG Beast? Oh,
I think that's KG Beast.
Oh, I just thought he was some dude, some bloke that helped the movie go along.
Some fucking commie.
So it's not a DC fanboy thing. I think the majority of DC movies are bad. The Nolan trilogy being some of the best, even though I don't like the Dark Knight Rises. So.
I feel like the Nolan trilogy kind of is its own thing.
Yeah,
like it's not indicative of like Batman or Superman Returns. It's not Wonder Woman, the old 70s show. It's not Batman.
It's just like,
it's its own little thing.
And it's the only thing that in my book keeps their name respectful. It's
those
just when you start shitting on all of them, you go, hey, but they have the Dark Knight. It's like, ah.
So there's like two things about that too. It's like, so the Dark Knight Rises made a fucking ton of money, but not nearly as much as it would have made given the first weekend there was that shooting in Colorado.
Yeah, I remember.
And that kind of tanked the sales, and it still made a bunch of money. People were excited to see that movie.
Yeah.
And
I was excited to see that movie. And so have you ever started to watch a movie and within the first 5 minutes you just do the, oh no. And it's gonna, like, I did that we did that with BVS when as soon as we saw little Bruce flying in the cave with the bats.
What was it? Was it that scene, that dream?
Yeah.
I think it was Justice League where we were both kind of like,
oh no,
God.
Oh no.
We were like, what, 5 minutes in? We're like, oh shit.
Yeah, this is gonna
be a long sit.
Yeah. So, anyways, going back to what I was saying, so it's not a DC fanboy thing.
Yeah, that was a
Marvel movies. I like the majority of Marvel movies, but there are a lot of extremely forgettable ones. I haven't really liked the Thor movie. The first one was okay. I like the first Thor movie. The second one was awful. I thought it was boring and sucked and very forgetful.
And they have a really great actor. I think Christopher Eccleston, who played Malekith.
Yeah.
Like, I was super excited. I was like, holy shit, he's going to play Malekith?
Yeah.
I want to watch that. And then he just, like, sat in a room or something.
It sucks because when you throw out a name like that and then you attach it to a character, I think as fans of the character and then just fans of the material, you get really excited. Like, when I found out that he was going to be fucking, what's his name? Silver-headed fucking dude in G.I. Joe.
Destro?
Yeah. When I was like, dude, that's gonna be, and then but he never has a metal face, and he's just him.
He just has a
plays
title.
Yeah. That sucked, but
and I feel like even more so than me, I think you've suffered from this a lot.
So that's what I was. This is okay. So my whole long spiel of getting into this nonsense is that when it comes to the Marvel movies, a lot of them have been forgettables. A lot of them I didn't like, but they do have a large handful that I love. I love Winter Soldier. I think it's one of the best Marvel movies. Iron Man 1 still phenomenal to this day. You watch it right now and you're like, damn, this is a good ass movie.
Mario has a great track record.
So the thing that I feel like I just am personally attacked, and I know it's very dramatic, but so there's certain characters that I absolutely adore. Bane is one of them. So Dark Knight Rises comes out. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Like, I love Bane.
Getting the Christopher Nolan treatment.
You're getting Bane. And then Tom Hardy. I'm like, dude, this is going to be the greatest Bane ever. No, it's not. And for anyone who loved Bane, Tom Hardy's portrayal of Bane, hey, more power to you. I'm glad that you got
more
to love.
More power to me.
Yeah,
I do. As I'm a fan of that performance.
Yeah, I'm not.
Got him.
Got him, coach. So yeah, I wasn't.
And then Destro. Destro is one of your favorites.
Destro is another, like, out of the G.I. Joe fucking villains. Like, I've always been a Destro dude, and he sucked. I mean, that really sucked. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard Doomsday fan, but I love Doomsday because he fucking stood against Superman. And for a long time, when I was young and dumb, I didn't like Superman. I was one of the Superman haters. Because I also wasn't reading the good stuff either. I would read the Boy Scout shit where it was kind of lame and corny.
And the main core books were a little rough to read. They were kind of boring.
Yeah. It was at a time where they weren't really 100% knew what to do with them.
It's funny is that a lot of people say that, like, I think Alex Ross said that, like, Cable looks like somebody, like, the 90s just threw up all over a character.
Yeah.
And, like, to me, I feel like Doomsday is that too. Like, Doomsday is, like, a design that you can only get in the 90s, I like Doomsday a lot. I like the character, I like the growth they put into him. But I feel like when somebody says, 90s comics, I immediately think of Doomsday.
Nice. See, and I think of, like, fucking... what was pouches. That? I think of pouches and bullets and shoulder pads. I
always think of that cover of Supreme, the first one.
Yeah. Supreme. That's a yes, definitely. I always think of what's the damn fucking was it Team 7 or some shit like that?
Team 7?
Yeah, I think of dudes like that or Shatterstar.
Shatterstar for sure is cool. But Team 7 is dear to my heart. That's Wildstorm stuff.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm sorry. So
yeah. So Doomsday sucked, Destro sucked, Bane sucked. Who else? Who else am I leaving? Now Starscream was garbage.
Starscream, that's a big one.
So that was a really first of all, those I can't stand the Transformer movies, period. But to see that was Starscream, it's like, ugh, and I really tried to get into it. It's like, oh, there's Starscream.
We tried.
Yeah, we really tried. So now you take, I find out that they're making Thor Ragnarok, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I'm not a big Thor fan. I like him. He's a great Avenger, but and then I loved what's his name, Jason Aaron's fucking Thor stories.
Yeah.
I think that's what brought me back to Thor. I was like, wow,
yeah,
you put Jason Aaron's on Thor.
Marvel, what the fuck? Where is the omnibus for God of Thunder? Those 26 issues, I think.
Dude,
it was
so
Jason
good.
Aaron, Esad Ribic, I think Tom Rainey did a small run in that, but it's only 25, 26 issues before they moved over to the Mighty Thor. Where is that omnibus?
Yeah, because I would buy that.
God Butcher, God Bomb.
God, that was so good.
Gorgeous.
It was so good.
My all-time favorite Thor story ever.
So you hear Thor Ragnarok's coming. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's cool. And then Gonzalo over here is, we're kind of talking about it, and he was like, oh, did you hear about Thor Ragnarok? I'm like, nah, that's whatever. I'll watch it, but I'm not really excited about it. He's like, Hulk's gonna be in it. And I'm like, dude. Now let me tell you something, internet. I love Batman. He is my all-time favorite character in fiction ever. If there was a second or a third in a top three, the Incredible Hulk is in that top three. Now, he might bounce around between someone else, but I could honestly say 9 times out of 10, it's Batman number 1, Hulk number 2, And then you could probably throw in other characters in 3 and 4 and 5, but...
Yeah, gun to my head, if someone said, who's Marcus's second favorite character, I'd say the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. I've always been a big guy, especially amongst my friends, so it always kind of fit, it always kind of fit. The Hulk was my dude, fueled by, emotions and shit like that. I used to be, in my youthful age, a very emotional, rageful guy, so...
Double facts.
And, Bruce Banner, Bruce Wayne, let's go. My name should have been Bruce. What? Yes. But anyways, so to find out that Hulk was gonna be, and I hadn't really been too happy with what Marvel was doing with Hulk, so I'm like, okay, and then I started to find stuff out oh, it's gonna take fucking place on Planet Hulk, Savage Hulk with armor and this and that. I'm like, okay, all right. I started to get kind of excited for it. I didn't go see it in theaters because I really wasn't gonna waste the money on it, so I was waiting for it to hit the Netflix. But I saw it on my Fire Stick. And god damn it, I was so upset with this fucking thing. Oh my god. I know you can hear my dissatisfaction, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, but one of my biggest gripes about Thor Ragnarok is Hulk. One of my biggest gripes, and the only gripe I have about Infinity War, is fucking Hulk. Jesus Christ, stop shitting on characters I love. And I get it. The internet, you could probably go, dude, Batman has had an awesome run of movies. He just recently had an awesome run of movies. He had some shit movies.
No, we're back to shit. We had Justice League and BVS.
It's so bad. But
He's
what
also
were you gonna say?
Squad.
Beating fucking criminals up in front of their kids. That's not the Batman I know.
I remember I watched Thor Ragnarok the first time, and I liked it, but I didn't really like it. It wasn't until the second time that I saw it that I really started to like it. But after I watched it a couple more times, I was thinking oh man, I can't wait to talk to Marcus about this. There are moments with the Hulk that I think are so Hulk that I was like, oh man, I cannot wait to talk to Marcus about this. He's gonna see it the way I saw it, and he's gonna latch onto these 2 or 3 moments, and we're gonna high five until the cows come home. It's gonna be fantastic. Cannot wait. And then I remember asking you, I think I was like, hey man, so you saw Thor Ragnarok, and you're like, yeah. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We can try to get into it beat for beat. We can try to get into this beat for beat, but in all honesty, we might be jumping around a lot. So when we were deciding on how to talk about Thor Ragnarok and what Gonzalo liked about it and what this episode is going to be heavily on what I hate about it, because it is I guess critically accepted as a pretty fun movie, and a lot of people
tend to like it. Yeah.
And a lot of YouTubers and content creators that I really adore that have eyes for movies, or they have really awesome takes on movies and stuff like that, like Thor Ragnarok. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how did you like this movie?
Well, two things. One, I think that those people don't like Thor or Hulk as much as you like Hulk.
Yeah,
you know
probably.
What I mean? And two, I would rather kind of hear your side, because there was a period where I was like, I'm not really sure what we should talk about. You know, give me some ideas. And you sent me a whole bunch of like, oh, we could talk about this. We could talk about that. And this was one that really kind of like perked my attention.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in knowing why you didn't like it, because if you give me 2 hours, I can talk about Batman all day. But if you give me 2 hours, I can talk to you why I hate Justice League. You know what I mean? So, I imagine you can get into why you don't like this Hulk, and like looking from it from a lens of someone who isn't as big a Hulk fan but knows that kind of passion, like watching Avengers, Age of Ultron, and this from the eyes of like a diehard Hulk fan, I would be breaking down walls. I'd be so mad.
and I am, and I mean, if you're a giant Hulk fan and you thought that he was fine in Ragnarok, I wish I was you.
Yeah.
This
is
not
the same thing, like with Batman and Robin. Like, I like Batman and Robin because it's a Batman movie, but you're like, I can't fucking stand Batman and Robin because it's a Batman movie and he deserves it better.
I think this is exactly what it is. So the end all be all of my argument against Thor Ragnarok was it was too funny. It was too comical, and there was a lot of moments in the movie that could have actually meant some really cool shit, and they undercut it with comedy. Now I get, and I don't know the director's name, but I love him.
Taika Waititi.
Thank you. One of the fucking greatest things that dude probably ever did was What We Do in Shadows, or
What We Do in the Shadows.
What Do We Do in the Shadows? If you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend watching it.
What We Do in the Shadows is a comedy classic. Like, it's like maybe my second or third favorite comedy of all time.
Yeah, it would probably be in my top 5.
It's probably my top 5 vampire movies of all time.
That's probably it probably makes that. It is
What We Do in the Shadows is fan-fucking-tastic.
And if you watch that and you get that comedy and you think it's funny and it's great, and I feel that he brought some of that, which I mean, maybe he is a comedy director. It just spilled in.
Did you see The Hunt for the Wilder People?
No, but I want to.
God, it's good.
Is it?
It's so good. It's funny, but it like with the feels.
It does. It does. Mm-hmm. Well, see, then that's the problem with this one. There was too many moments. So I'm just gonna throw stuff out there, and then we can kind of clean it up. So the first things first. It was too comical. It was too funny. Too
many like one-liners and
too many one-liners. Too many moments where it's like serious thing happening. You know, like, and then it's undercut by a joke or a miscue or a misstep, like a blooper reel almost. And I'm like, I get it, guys. I get we're not trying to take this too seriously. I get that this is a fantasy, but fuck, I mean, you can't go from Jason Aaron's badass storytelling and then go to, weird Thor, like, it's kind of a joke. And some of the things that really bugged me, and again, I know I'm nitpicking, and I know that maybe there's probably a billion different explanations, or there's the infinite.
I don't know.
It's just a movie, bro.
I don't know if you know this, but the internet is made for nitpicking.
No, I know that, but I'm
nitpick away.
I'm going to that's what I'm basically saying. I'm going to go ahead and nitpick the shit out of these little things that just bug me, because I mean, you can find holes in everything, but these are the ones that just stood out to me, and I'm usually not that person who has to look for stuff. Like, I didn't walk into fucking Thor Ragnarok wanting to hate it.
Yeah.
But it just started to really bug me. So, first things first, it was too fucking comical. There was too many undercutting things. Like, there was moments where I thought, like,
like jokes per capita. It's like there are a lot of jokes.
And then at the end, okay, and like I said, I'm gonna bounce around, so we're gonna fucking bounce around. So
I'm sorry, internet, if you do listen to this. There 110 topics that we have spoiled in movies and shit. So spoilers every time you listen to this show. Spoilers.
Yeah, seriously, because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't spoilers for games, movies, music, like TV shows.
We're just talking. For you 12 people watching and listening right now.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Spoilers. No, okay, so when I finally thought I was going to get a cool Hulk moment, they fucking killed it with the comedy. When they're in that fucking ship and the big fucking wolf is there and Banner fucking jumps out, I'm like, let's go Hulk, let's do this. And wham! And he just, like, he's dead almost. And that really bugged me. Like, I out of all the jokes, out of all the comical stuff, you could have finally had a cool, like, it was almost, it could have been as, like, that moment in fucking New York is like, I'm always angry. Like, I wanted, just give me those little moments.
So, like, Hulk has the best line in Avengers.
Yes.
Like, he has the best moment in Avengers with the I'm always angry.
Yes.
But that scene where he jumps off onto the Rainbow Bridge and he just eats shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was, to me, I thought it was hilarious because it's like a reverse of when, like, Edward Norton's character does it in The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And it was also taken from Mark Miller and Brian Hitch's Ultimates.
Yes.
When they toss fucking Banner out of the helicopter. They think like the Hulk is going to kick in and save his life.
Yeah.
And so to subvert that and just have him like eat shit cracked me up. I thought that was really funny. Yeah. Because then it's enough for like the audience or even those of us that are like, oh, of course he's going to turn into the Hulk before he hits the ground. He's like, whoa, he didn't.
Well, and I think that goes back to the like, I guess, level of Hulkdom. Like, I sat through this fucking movie and watched this shitty Hulk. So it was like, finally give me something I can be happy about, and then they didn't give it to me. So I get the, like, oh, well, everyone was expecting it, so we have him fall on his face. Totally understand that. But I had to eat shit for this fucking whole time watching this dumb-ass movie. At least give me that Hulk moment, and then I don't get the Hulk. Now, I will say the only cool Hulk moment that I thought was badass is when they finally let, what's his name, Surtur?
Surtur.
Yeah, when they finally release him and he's just fucking laying waste, and then Hulk attacks him. It's like, Hulk, no, stop! And he's like, monster! It's like, fucking big monster! It's like, no, for once, like, no smash, come here. Like, that was the only thing that I actually dug about Hulk in that entire movie. I did like the fight scene. I liked the fight scene with him and Thor. That was cool. I feel, and maybe this is just a weird, I don't know, maybe it is a bias. I feel ever since the Edward Norton movies, I feel like Marvel doesn't know how to capture Hulk's rage. Like, there's something about the way he moves and how he acts that he just seems like he's fighting. He doesn't seem like he's fighting with rage. And I feel like the Edward Norton movie caught that. Like, there was moments where he was like rapidly moving, like
he's like shaking,
like
he's so
like
fucking
lost,
pissed.
like losing his fucking mind. Versus this one, he's just like a badass warrior, which I mean I get, but I don't.
He's just like a brawler.
Yeah, he's just a brawler. He's just a big brawler. Like if you were to, fucking replace pay $1.99 in microtransactions and replaced his skin with Juggernaut, it wouldn't look any different. Tell who was fighting. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Versus in the Edward Norton Hulk movies, I feel like there was scenes where he just looked like he's full of rage. Like just the way he moved, like he moved kind of sporadically. As much as
people like shit on that movie, there are a lot of parts that I like about that movie. I like that the Incredible Hulk movie.
I love that movie.
There's a scene that always almost makes me cry every time I see it. But there's a lot of scenes where they're just like are tight on the Hulk, and he's like shaking. He's so fucking pissed.
Yeah, like
and I
was like a vein popping out of his
you feel
neck.
like his teeth are gonna break in his jaw.
Yeah. And I feel that they never caught that.
Pissed.
Yeah, that's even something as simple as when Hulk. Okay, so again, differences in this movie. Banner's been Hulk for 2 years, so it's just the Hulk, and I get it. The Hulk's not the brightest fucking light on the Christmas tree. I get all that, but they really, I don't know. I just feel like they really fucking like spoon fed down your goddamn throat that he was like a child. And I get that, and I know there's been a lot of like different takes on him, and when he's at his most lowest IQ he's like a child, but it was just so like I didn't want to see him on screen. Versus the Edward Norton movie, I remember like after they had fled from the military, there's that scene where fucking Hulk is like screaming at the lightning and the thunder, and he hits his head.
Yeah, the lightning cracks and he hits his head.
Yeah, and he like fucking like
he grabs a boulder and he throws it.
And he throws it. That's Hulk.
That was
such a Hulk moment. And then he hits his head and he's like, ow, basically. And Liv Tyler's trying to be like, hey, let me. He's like, fucking like get away from me. But without saying it, he like you can see that childlike no, I don't want to, and she kind of like chills him out, and he kind of like, okay.
He sort of recognizes her. It's Betty, and he's like, oh, I think I can chill with you. I'm not sure.
Yes, and that was such a Hulk moment for me. Like that one is one of my favorite moments in the Hulk fucking, cinema.
Hulkiverse.
That's one of my favorites, and I just feel like that's a great way to capture that low IQ, childlike rage, whatever, versus what they were just constantly like.
I feel like the Hulk in the Marvel movies a lot of times is just like a side character, just like window dressing.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, like, if you guys want, go do a deep dive on the Incredible Hulk movie, Edward Norton, and all the things that he brought to that creatively, the movie that they were trying to make. Like, I feel like that crew, especially Norton, cared about Bruce Banner, cared about the Hulk, and thought about him very deep. And Edward Norton's one of the smartest dudes in Hollywood, you know? And when they pass it off to someone else, it seems like they don't care. They don't have as much love for the Hulk. So
yeah.
like, oh, just put him here or there.
I feel the same way, and I feel like that's what I've been seeing, too. So it's probably another reason why it bothered me. Now, look, I'm also going to say this. Mark Ruffalo as an actor, I like him in some stuff. I think he's a pretty good actor. He's not great, but he's pretty good.
Mark Ruffalo is in my favorite movie of all time.
Which one's that?
He's in Eternal Sunshine of the
Spotless
Spotless
Yeah.
Mind.
And that's one of the, like, when I go...
fantastic.
I always have to remind myself, when I'm seeing him play Bruce Banner, and I want to hate him, I always got to remember, he's in Sunshine.
He's in Spotlight. He's
in Spotlight.
Spotlight.
He's fantastic in Spotlight.
He's really good in Zodiac. Like,
I haven't seen Zodiac yet.
Dude, watch it.
I need to watch that.
Good.
So I like Mark Ruffalo. Spotlight's a fantastic movie, by the way. Goddamn, that's such a good movie. Anyways,
anybody listening to this haven't seen Spotlight, it's on Netflix. Watch it. That is the trimmest movie I've ever seen. It's so fucking good.
It's so good and accurate. Pretty damn accurate. Mm-hmm. Anyways, continuing on. I can't stand Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. I fucking can't.
It's like he's doing a Saturday Night Live version of Bruce Banner. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the best thing you could have ever said. That's the best thing. Gonzalo gets award of the night for the best thing ever said. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel.
Sorry, I almost spit my drink all over this laptop.
I mean, yeah, it's like Code Green, guys. Code Green. Yeah. I fucking can't stand that scene. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you know what I'm talking about, fucking feel my pain. And if you don't feel my pain, I'll make you feel my pain. No. It's just.
So did you sit through it today?
Yeah. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched it too.
I watched it from beginning. Okay, so I didn't want to watch Thor Ragnarok again. So this is the weekend for the Division 2 beta, and internet, you need to start showing us some goddamn love, because I sat through Ragnarok again to get ready for this podcast. I could have been playing the Division 2 beta, open beta.
Like 2 hours and 11 minutes that you weren't playing the Division.
Oh my god, dude! And that's
which I think is dedication. Thank you, man.
Well, and not only that, but I started to get kind of like antsy, so I started cleaning while I was watching it. I was like, well, fuck it, I gotta do something.
Dude, I was watching it and I was getting antsy too. I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, I don't want to watch this. I get it. There's just a lot of things that I just don't like about that movie, and I know that I keep I'm painting this picture that it's just the Hulk, but it's not. Like, Hela is another fucking waste of fucking actress, waste of space, like just no motivation whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, why is she there? I feel like they didn't, either the studio or I don't know who, Kevin Feige, who cares, didn't have the trust that a buddy cop movie or like this character driven movie could carry that movie, so they had to throw in a big bad.
Yeah, I think that movie could have just been them getting off the fucking planet.
Yeah. And like a Race Against Time till Ragnarok. You know, it didn't have to have this like B plot of, you know, Hela. It was bad. It's so wasted. And it feels like you're wasting time when you're watching it too. You're like,
well, not only that, but I feel like she's wasting fucking time. Like, she's just waiting for something to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, and that really sucks.
There's a lot of lines in it too that I found. I don't know. Maybe I'm coming to your side on this thing. I don't know. But like a lot of the jokes that she tells are they're like telegraphed, and they're also, I don't know. They're so common. I don't know how to say it. Like when she's like, you know, like the king would appoint an executioner not just to execute people, but to execute their vision, but mostly to execute people.
Yeah, it was so painful to watch. It's so cringe. Yeah, it's exactly pedestrian, and I feel like they had a quota of like one-liners and like moments that they had to fill.
She has the most. Like, she has a ton of.
They're awful.
It always makes me cringe physically, like not even, you know, a meme jokey kind of way, when she goes fake and she pushes the gauntlet over. Dude, my stomach like. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and there's too many moments like that, and yeah, she probably holds a lot of those moments.
And it's Kate fucking Blanchett,
dude,
like, and one of the best to ever do it.
And
you know what I mean? Like,
and even when she's spitting her shitty lines, her voice is so awesome that she almost pulls it off. She
almost does,
but she doesn't. She doesn't pull it off because the character is so empty. There's nothing to her. Like,
it's very blah.
Oh, it's fucking blah as fuck. So it bothers me when I see her because A, her voice is magnificent. B, she is a fucking fantastic actress. And C, and I ain't gonna lie, she actually looks really hot the way they kind of did her makeup and stuff. I was like, God damn, I never thought Cate Blanchett was hot. Like, she was like, oh my god.
I've always thought she was really, really.
No, I always thought she was beautiful.
Yeah.
See, and
okay, I know what you mean.
yeah. I always thought she was beautiful. That one, I was like, ah. she was like, wow, a little smoky eye. I dig it. So yeah, she sucked. Fucking that dumbass dude that she gets to work for her
Carl
is my dude. Stick with Dredd. Y'all need to make another Dredd movie. Like, y'all need to get your shit together. Carl Urban does not need to be working in Marvel movies because his whole character and arc, and he's so frustrating to me. That whole thing is frustrating because, again, it's this like.
You know what goes on too long too is the Matt Damon cameo.
Oh my god, that was painful. It's painful to watch. It's like, we get it. Okay, let's get out of this. The thing with the fucking the machine guns, like, and the infinite bullets, and the infinite fucking amount of bullets, like that was really rough. Like when he first pulls them out.
It's a magic place.
No. If you would have said that, it's like, I'll put a little, magic on them to make them infinite bullets. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Damn it. But they needed something. That shit was stupid. Yeah. The most telegraphed like redemption story ever. Like, I knew that was fucking coming. That was so bad.
And so like one of the biggest reasons why I do like this movie is because to me, I think they started to do this with the second and third phases of Marvel movies, but we had talked a long time ago about how you can make genre pieces out of these superhero movies, right? And I always used to contend, like, you make Thor, Conan the Barbarian, and you make them this crazy barbarian movie.
Yeah.
Or set of movies, or trilogy of movies, but they made it science fiction. And there is... Like, a lot of people think, oh, Thor Ragnarok is really funny. It's like, go watch Thor 1. There's a lot of him, like, slamming into windows and making stupid faces.
Yeah.
You know? And the fact that they got
that's another reason why I don't, like, really love the Thor first one.
I feel like they got those characters in that world so wrong immediately that it had no vested interest. And then 2 is so fucking blah that the third one, they actually did a thing. You know, like, I like that Taika really had a take and gave it some fucking personality, even though I don't necessarily feel like it was the right personality for the character or for Hulk. And it really drives me nuts that, I think I read somewhere that maybe even Chris Hemsworth fought for this to get his hair cut, but that's not Thor. Like, he is supposed to kind of have a specific look, and to really bitch about like that one thing, it's kind of it kind of bothered me. So I was like, well, whatever, throw your hands in the air. And then Ragnarok comes out and it has some personality, it has some charm, it has some fucking direction with someone who gives a shit to make a good movie, because Taika cares about the shit he produces, So
and I will
say that on, like, he gave it a personality, I think for good or ill. The personality of that movie dwarfs the other two combined.
Yes. And so with you saying that, I would say that Ragnarok has more character than the other two movies. And if I really liked these movies in general, the Thor movies, which again the first one's alright, I would say Thor Ragnarok's the better of the three, because he did something with it, and it might not be something I like, but visually I can see. Engaging. Yeah, it wasn't boring. It wasn't the same old. And I do like that. I do like he was like, hey, what if we put these two characters in a buddy cop situation? I do like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of surrounding stuff. Again, the hella shit. Me not liking Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Loki's wig's getting worse and worse.
Loki's wig getting worse and worse. Oh, and then the other thing that really sucked was fucking, like, okay, I don't think the dumb Hulk thing was the thing that really irked me. I think it was the dumb Hulk voice, like that weird Mark Ruffalo warped, thing. I hate his voice so much that it's almost like nails scratching a chalkboard when I hear fucking Hulk talk. Excuse me, I've been drinking. And that really bugs me.
I think a lot of people will see it as like, oh, it's baby Hulk, it's 2-year-old Hulk, he's dumb. And to me, it's like, from the Hulk that we've seen to this Hulk now, it's like, oh, he's 2 years smarter. Yeah. Like, to me, it's like an evolution. To some people, like a de-evolution.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's interesting.
I don't necessarily like the Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I hate his voice.
It sounds kind of
like fire. Like fire.
But okay, I love that shit. Always cracks me up. Like, Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
That's good. That's good. But
we're kind of both.
But his voice.
We're kind of both like fire, and then Hulk goes, Hulk like real fire.
Well, when you say it, it sounds awesome. When I see it in the movie, it sucks.
It's hilarious. Okay, continue. But I don't like the voice very much.
Yeah, the voice really bothers me. So you have Hela, fucking this empty shell of a character, wasted fucking potential, and you have Carl Urban, wasted fucking space and time and screen time. And I like Carl Urban and Dredd.
Yeah, I love Forever for Dredd. I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah, that dude is made in my book because of Dredd. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even name anything else. It's like, I don't know.
He was in Red. He was in the Red adaptation. Yeah. He was in The Loft. He was in the Star Trek reboots, the J.J. Abrams.
Oh, yeah, he was. Okay, yeah. That's right. He was, what's his face? So you have all that, not really digging.
He was Dredd.
He was fucking Dredd. That's all you need to know is he was Dredd. I'm not digging all these things. Then you have Jeff Goldblum. Dude, I'm fucking sorry. I cannot fucking stand Jeff Goldblum in this fucking movie.
Really?
The whole take on Jeff Goldblum and his the Grandmaster. He's just Jeff Goldblum, and I fucking can't stand it. I can't stand watching him and listening to him talk. Like,
I feel like that's kind of the dream, though, right? Is to get so famous and so popular that you can just be yourself in anything, and they'll pay you to be yourself.
Yeah. And for most people that works, but not for Jeff Goldblum. For me, for me, it doesn't work. He felt so out of place. He didn't feel like when Benicio del Toro in the Galaxy movies, Guardians. He seemed odd, like an oddity. Yeah. Like, that's just you're
kind of been alive for too long.
Yeah. You're a little weird, kind of unhinged, but not crazy. You're just you've been alive for too long. That's fantastic. Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum. Like, I don't feel like he's been alive for too long.
They're supposed to be brothers, I think.
Yeah. I think they're related. That's why I bring them up. And I'm not trying to shit on Jeff Goldblum. I like Jeff Goldblum. He's all right, but in this fucking movie, I can't fucking stand him.
Classics.
Yeah, he's been in some fucking classics. But he's so annoying to me in this fucking movie. Like, every time he's on scene, I'm not enjoying it. Like, it's just cringy. And some of the lines that he delivers, like, are almost make me laugh, but it's just
none of them get you.
Yeah, it's like no. Yeah, none of them landed with me. So, like, Jeff Goldblum really fucking bugs me. The weird fucking okay. Here's another thing that pisses me off. Like, it's so nitpicky. I'm so internet right now. When Thor is in the fucking chair, can you explain to me why he can't break through? This dude, so he can fucking hold on and take the full power of a fucking neutron star, but he can't break out of a fucking chair? Like, what tech do you got?
Well, I think it's because he's having, like, a mental breakdown. Because, like...
No, because he eventually is free.
Yeah, well, they refer to it as the Thor Force, which I think is kind of a dumb name in the comics, but...
The Thor Force.
Yeah, that's Jason Aaron, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what? You're stupid.
Yeah. But I thought it would be better if it was called, like the Asgard Force or the Odin Force. That would make more sense. It sounded a little cooler. Anyway, so...
More Thor.
But at this time, he's just lost his hammer. He lost his brother. He lost his dad. He learned that his aunt, or no, his sister.
His sister.
Yeah. Is coming to take the throne. So he's all fucked up mentally, and he's on this trash planet. He just got his ass kicked like 3 times in a row, like in quick succession. So I think he's just a little defeated. And
Can you explain to me why the God of Thunder, who controls lightning, even with his fucking hammer...
But he learns by the end of this.
No. Can you explain to me why electricity tasers hurt him? Why did tasers fucking hurt him? Why do tasers hurt him? Like, I command lightning even when it's a hammer, but there's still lightning on me. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he controls lightning. Why are tasers hurting my dog? What is that joke? That constant...
Okay, so after watching this again, I think it is 6 times in the movie. I'm like, stop shaking like that. I can't see it anymore.
Oh, that really bugs me.
Yeah,
I just need an explanation.
Maybe because it's in his nerve cluster. I have no idea. I don't know. Yeah, pressure points. I don't know.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, how did
Jane takes or not Jane?
Valkyrie.
No. The fucking first Thor movie is the.
Oh yeah,
they tase
not Darcy.
Like,
Darcy does.
Yeah, Darcy.
What's a Korg? How is he controlled? He's like living rock. If we're gonna,
Don't get me started on because he's next. He's next.
I like him.
He's next. No, again, if this movie wasn't filled with one-liners and jokes, Korg would have been like, that's all I need. But because this movie is so much of that, he's just kind of like the fucking spotlight of jokes.
So we're talking about we're talking about the Grandmaster, right? The Grandmaster is like some form of a celestial or immortal being.
Yeah.
So he has some crazy tech. I imagine that's why he overpowered Thor, because Thor is still kind of like what did he say in Ragnarok? He's like 10,000 years old or something like that. He's a baby god.
Yeah, he says something that he's like, I would be X amount of years old, but on this planet and then he like pauses
no. I'm talking about Thor. Because in Infinity War, he's like, I think he says something like, I'm 1,500 years old, and he does that little speech with Rocket. So he's like 1,500 years old. The Grandmaster is way older, so he's like a little baby god, and so he has tech to keep him in place. I really like when he's like, the God of Thunder, and the electricity comes out, and Grandmaster just has his face up, and he's like, I didn't hear any thunder, but there's a little sparkle. You're just kind of like trolling him.
You deliver the lines. You watch this movie with me.
My friend, that's why I wanted to watch it with you. My friend Mike does that all the time. Like, I'll watch something, fucking hate it, and then I'll have he'll like replay it for me, like in his, and I'm like, I like it.
Like in his vision.
Yeah. But maybe that's why. I would say that's why he was able, and that I think best moment in the entire film is just before then when Thor is getting pulled into the little like the reel where it's like, where are you, Sakaar, where that whole little
and they're playing the Willy Wonka fucking music.
But at the end when it's like, you're now meeting the Grandmaster, and the way the Hulk like screeches, it cracks me up every time I see it. I saw it twice today.
What, you mean Thor?
Thor when he's like,
it's
so funny because he doesn't know what he's about to see. Like, he's so fucked mentally. He's like, where am I? What am I doing? What am I gonna see? And he just freaks out. That always makes me laugh.
So going to literally a couple of scenes later, not even scenes, like maybe seconds later. So Thor, now the way you make it seem like, okay, Thor's been through all this shit, so he's just kind of a little unhinged, so maybe he's not ready for all this, or he's not mentally like sharp or whatever. I didn't get any of that. So the way you say it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I'll give it a pass. But as a storyteller in the movie, I didn't get any of that. I didn't feel any changes.
It's like you have to be paying attention to get all that. Like, you see that like he just realized his brother was alive, and he realized that he just loses his dad. But if it's not conveyed properly, then maybe that is a fault of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't necessarily up to you to shoulder so much of the load.
Oh, and that fucking Odin
also
shit.
Don't like...
Yeah, we're going to get there.
We always talk about how we don't like movies to hold our hand.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's just not clear, does it come through? Like, maybe the comedy...
It undercuts all of that, because it could have been a... Yeah.
It's like, well, why is he so fucking weak right now? It's like, oh, because he just lost his dad. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Like 40, 50 jokes ago.
Yeah. Thank you for saving me on that. That sounds fantastic. I'm gonna go with that.
Well, no, I was just thinking about it myself. How that could like make the waters more murky as far as like the emotional pool you're trying to dive into. It's like, I can't be attached to this sadness because it's joke.
Yeah. And I 100% agree. So the other thing that I don't know why it bugs me so much, and I took a step back. I was like, why is it bugging me so much? But I don't know why it bugs me. When he pulls up in front of the Grandmaster and I think it's his nephew or his cousin or some shit,
yeah.
And they kill him and he like melts and Thor's freaking out. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude,
okay,
you have fucking seen war and death, and you've probably seen worse than that. Your dad is a fucking murderer.
He like flew through the mouth of a frost giant monster. The first one, like, hammer and all.
Yeah.
It's like that, and I hate the scene in Infinity War when Scarlet Witch throws what's her name? God damn it. Proxima Midnight into the gears or whatever, and like the blue blood splatters on Black Widow's face, and she goes, "That's really gross." Like, she's been in Black Ops for a really long time. Like, that's gross to you?
Yeah.
And that always breaks my immersion.
This is the same thing. Him freaking out that he got melted. I'm like, dude, first of all, you're 15,000 years old.
Yeah.
Second of all, you're a fucking brutal warrior.
Yeah.
You have seen worse. You've probably seen people burned at the stake. You know what I mean?
The beginning of the movie starts with like a decapitation of a dragon that just spills guts all over his face.
Yeah.
But it might have been more funny if he was just like, I haven't seen that in a while.
Or even if he just would have led with the smell. Like, it's not what he saw. It just it stunk. because he says that second and thirdly, like,
yeah.
But the first, like, he's freaking out. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god!" Like, he's freaking. That
cracked me up though.
really bugged me. I'm like, what? You have seen some shit, my dude.
You have done some shit.
And you have done, yeah. You aren't always fucking a hero, bro. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that bothers me. So check mark. Okay, hella. Let me check mark.
Grandmaster.
My problems with Hulk and Mark Ruffalo.
And there's some things with Hulk that I really, really like. Like one of my favorite things about Thor Ragnarok, their portrayal of Hulk, is the scene where he's in the hot tub, and yeah, it does kind of get a little exhausting when Thor says, "Oh, Hulk's in a hot tub." It's like, whatever. But when Thor asks him, like, "How long have you been like this?" and he's like what? And he goes, like this, big, green, stupid, whatever. And Hulk says, Hulk always Hulk.
Yeah,
like, that's such a Hulk line.
That's a great line.
It really, like, there's something about it that I really enjoy, and it kind of makes me feel, I don't know, inspired by. It's like, I'm always who I am. It reminds me of Rocket Raccoon saying, "Ain't no thing like me except me." That's a real, like, a self-assuredness. It's something that gets to the heart of who a human is. And this version of the Hulk, though he's hated and reviled as a monster, he's cool with himself for once. And I really like that. And it's super simple. It's just Hulk, always Hulk. I'm nothing more than what I am.
And I do actually like that.
And that's
line.
really cool. And the line and delivery is pretty good too.
Yeah. That first part of that scene is actually not bad at all.
Yeah, because he's kind of like bathed in shadow too, and he kind of
yes, he even has like a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow thing going on, so he looks kind of wary from battle and shit. Like that whole thing, even when he's like Quinjet and he splashes the water, like, okay, those are all Hulk things, like that was not bad. That's when I was like, okay, maybe we'll come back.
There's some, I like when I do like when he interacts with Thor, and Thor's, like the red and the white, pick one color. It's ridiculous. And he's like, baby arms. He's like, Thor go, Hulk stay. I like that because Hulk is rationalizing why he should be there. But at the whole time, he's just like pulling fucking Thor's leg, which I think finally gets one over on somebody. And I don't know what it is, but it's something about the delivery where he's like, Thor home. Like, you're fucked. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Thor's sad. He's like, nah, I'm not sad. And like, Thor's sad. He pushes his ass over.
That I see.
He hasn't had someone to be like physical. It's almost like it's like almost like a sibling camaraderie.
Like exactly.
And it's a way for him to lash out, but also try and connect with someone. And Thor doesn't want to hear it, but it's like you suffer your little siblings or your younger siblings or whatever. And they have a really cool back and forth. Like, how is it that Hulk is the one under control? Because Thor kicks 2 things before Hulk goes, don't kick stuff. Gets all pissed off.
Yeah.
I really like that,
That was actually really cool.
And there's, like, again, being like a comic sweaty when he's like, we don't call you, you're the stupid Avenger. He goes, you're a tiny Avenger. He calls him tiny Avenger. Like, that's how he's like, I'm going to cut this dude down because he's tiny compared to me.
Yeah.
Which I really like that scene where he's like, you could kill me. That whole little interaction.
And I like that, like where they're kind of going back and forth, but then he throws the shield and it goes to the thing, and he's like, and like Thor's like for a second like, oh shit. I do like that part.
So, I like that, and then I don't know if it was just me, but it sounded like Mark Ruffalo was delivering a little lispy when it came to the whole.
He does sound a little lispy, and I don't know what the fuck that is. I was like, is that like audio stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if he's like making a joke. I don't know. But the scene where he sees Black Widow in the log of the Quinjet.
Oh yeah,
and he starts freaking out.
Fucking scene.
But I really like that scene. Like,
it's like, because it's not it. What happened? Like, because I went back to fucking watch it because I was like, wait, I don't remember that.
Oh, from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, they're not. It's not.
It's not the same thing.
If it would have been literally like, oh, that's exactly
what
that
she
would have
said.
been fucking cool, but that's not what she says, and like, it,
yeah.
But I love it. I love how he freaks out.
So he starts freaking out, and that's I think the only.
The whole Black Widow thing, by the way.
I like the. God, what was I going to say? Oh,
I'm sorry.
It's the only emotional beat in the movie that actually lands, I think, is when he starts transforming and he screams, he says, no, Banner, like, not now, we don't want your weakness here, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. I think
and you're right, that's literally the only scene in the movie that it actually hits a tone. Mm-hmm. Like, even the shit with fucking Odin, like,
yeah,
you really tried to fucking squeeze some tears out of people, and anyone who got sad with that fucking moment, I am sorry for you. Like,
anybody who got sad at that moment should recognize what a fantastic actor Anthony Hopkins is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if
sure.
you felt anything, it's because Anthony Hopkins is
delivered,
an actor.
Yeah, he delivered some really powerful
and he almost
lines.
couldn't save that. He probably didn't save it.
I don't
but the
think
way
he saved
delivers
it, but I love the delivery.
Yeah, if you felt anything, it's because Anthony Hopkins. That's why.
Yeah. And,
but that's pretty much what I like about the Hulk in that movie. There's some moments that I feel are kind of like character moments, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I like that way more than plot.
And I think the only thing that kills me on some of those character moments, because I do agree with you, actually I agree with you a lot on some of those points, is the voice that they use. He just doesn't sound, I don't know, he doesn't sound good. Something sounds off. He doesn't sound like
He doesn't sound intimidating.
He doesn't sound
just sounds like someone you could talk to.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just, so, okay, so Hulk, Grandmaster, Hela, what else?
Stop interrupting me.
Oh my god!
What do you give me the melty stick for?
Starts with a B. Trash.
Were you just waiting to color that? It doesn't start with a B. It's funny.
B. The Valkyrie thing I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson is fantastic. She's one of the few people that I really like enjoyed her British accent.
Oh, I love her.
It's really good.
Accent.
Like she's
the Valkyrie stuff was cool.
That scene, the flashback where
the
they fight Hela.
Show me more of that.
That's beautiful.
I hate their fucking armor though. That white suit that she wears at the end looks like
again,
a fucking
it's
Power Ranger
this
outfit.
is fucking Captain Power Thor, right?
It's
this is
bad.
like science fiction Thor.
But I even feel like even as they progress with Thor's look, that it got more and more bearable. It's like, okay, that looks Thorish.
Man, it's
you know,
bearable though. All of them are.
But compared to the first one, he looks awful.
Dude, he looks like he can't move in that thing.
Yeah, it looks awful. At least with these
people are like, why didn't he bring back his helmet? It's like, did you see his helmet in the first one?
Oh, it was rough. And his bad hair. Like,
he bleached his eyebrows in that first one.
Did he
That's
really?
Why it's so weird. Like, if you look at
it,
yeah, he has blonde eyebrows, and then he stopped doing that. But that first one, he looks like, what is off with your face? Because his eyebrows.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I just can't stand the way she looks at the end. That white get up she has looks ridiculous.
It'd have been cool if it was like sleeveless or something.
Yeah, it just
like
looks
a
so. Yeah, it
version
looks
of it or whatever.
Something.
Yeah,
it's a little more armor clad and not.
It did look like it just came off of like a set. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is your costume, Valkyrie.
Yeah, here you go. Like, yeah, it didn't look like aged or worn in. You know, it's like I've held on to this. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't very good storytelling with it. It would have been cool if it would have been.
But you could, yeah. Like, I mean, didn't fucking Black Panther just win an Oscar for costume design?
Yeah,
it's like you can tell story through costume.
Yeah,
and
for
why
sure.
not? You know, like it would have been really cool to see her wearing that Valkyrie costume, but have a big fucking hole.
I was just gonna say that.
It's like, oh, that was what she was wearing. That's when she almost died.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that'd be cool. If, like when she maybe she lays it out in front of Thor, and like he just goes and like picks it up a little bit and shows like there's a big fucking hole in it.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, and like she could just move it away or like fold it up or something.
That's all you need. And
it's like, oh shit, like there we go.
But then that's why she puts it back on or whatever, and she's like honoring the people that fell with her.
Yeah, anything. Oh, so much better storytelling. But no, that was bad. But other than that, Valkyrie, she's kind of almost the only saving grace in that fucking movie. Like I enjoy when she's on screen. I love her accent.
You know, I really think like there's a scene. Okay, when
I like the fact that she's kind of tiny.
Yeah,
like I don't know why, because you would think of a Valkyrie like being like maybe the size of of Thor, but like a little as tall as Thor.
Yeah, like Lady Sif or whatever.
Exactly, like just fucking like. But no, she's a little tiny Valkyrie, but she's a badass.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a cool scene at the beginning where she's first taking Thor to the Grandmaster, and he was like, oh, you know, I'm Thor of Asgard. I need to get back to, you know, or I'm the son of Odin. I need to get back to Asgard. And she's like, sorry, Your Highness, and she hits him again, and he like passes out, and she's just like sitting with her feet up in the spaceship, and then it cuts to like the landscape of Sakaar. When I saw that, I thought, oh, this is a Thor movie by way of Mobius. Like, I thought it was really cool. Like, if you're gonna do science fiction Thor, then do the best version of that you can. And what is that? It's Mobius. Yeah. So I really like that world.
Yeah.
It's not my Thor, you know. It's not not my Thor, but not what I would like to see Thor in.
Yeah. I feel like in a couple of years we're gonna get a series of remakes of Thor, just like we went from the Keaton Batman to the Christian Bale Batman. I feel like we're gonna get a Thor that's like, oh no, they're gonna hit the fucking
how do you
ancient.
know? Like, you do Conan the Barbarian, 300, and Gladiator, but it's Thor. I'll watch that movie,
dude.
Sign me up. It does not sound like amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And
you bring Anthony Hopkins back. Like, well, you're not king. Oh shit, that's my favorite line. So.
Do you know to do that with Anthony Hopkins in that scene in the first one, they did the same thing like with Willem Dafoe in God, what's the movie with Patrick Bateman, American Psycho, where it's like talk to Thor as if you're disappointed, then talk to Thor as if you're pissed, and then talk to Thor as if you don't care, and they cut them all together. So like the way he's like, "We're not king," and he's like, "You greedy," so he's like almost gonna cry and shit. It's like,
oh wow,
yeah. And so Willem Dafoe, you know about American Psycho?
No.
So when he's interrogating Bateman at his law firm, he's like, I hope I'm not being cross-examined. He's like, do you feel that way? He goes, the director, she said, question him as if you know he's the killer. And then they did it, question him as if you don't know he's the killer, and then question him as you think he is the killer. And they cut all three together. So it's real up and down and weird.
Which is awesome because it makes me feel like that detective is the shit because he's putting Bateman on his toes.
Like, he doesn't know how to read him.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, wow.
Anthony Hopkins, man.
Anthony fucking Hopkins. Holy shit. What else do I have beef with that movie?
But yeah, so Valkyrie is pretty good.
Yeah, Valkyrie is the one thing, and you have to understand, I don't know much about Valkyrie, so if there's someone out there who's like, Valkyrie fucking sucks, like she wasn't a character, like if you're having a moment like I'm having with the Hulk, then leave a comment because I would like to know because Valkyrie is the only thing that I actually dug about the whole movie. It
works so well they're putting them in another movie together.
No shit, right? What else? I think that's almost all the things that I really.
Something that really bothers me, and it's not like a big deal, but I don't like the whole. Well, it just goes back to Hela when she's explaining to Asgard what she is and who she is, and then
and then they're like, "Did you not just hear?" Yeah.
Did you not just hear it? Really rough to watch.
And there's too many scenes like that. Those weird, awkward like. Should I stand here? Okay. So when Hulk summons Valkyrie and she comes in and they have their little play fight session, and she's like, "What did you want?" Basically asking, "What do you want, big guy? Like, what's going on?" And fucking Thor's there. It's like, "Oh, you fucking called me here because he wanted to talk to me." And there's that scene where he's walking up and he's like gonna put his arm on the thing, but then he resets and he's awkward. He doesn't know how to stand. Again, a moment where I was like, okay, that's cool. Fucking Thor's stepping in, hey, I need to talk to you. Kind of smooth, but not overly trying anything. But then they undercut it with that weird I don't know what to do with my hands. I just fucking heard Ricky Bobby I don't know what to do with my hands. Stop it! You killed so many fucking cool moments. You killed the moment with the big fucking wolf. You killed all the Hela moments with her fucking stupid shit. You killed that one simple moment that it was I need to talk to you, and it's I don't. Do you want to stand here? You know what? I'm sorry. You know what I mean? There's just too many of those awkward moments, and it's and you were right in the first Thor movie. Yeah, he does a lot of those weird things. But he was also sent to Earth without his powers. Yeah. So I get the human slapstick part because you're this big fucking dude, but now you don't really have those powers, so you're walking into fucking walls and shit, and you're I feel being silly.
Awkward comedy works when it's used sparingly. If everything is an awkward moment joke, then it starts to okay.
And that's exactly what I feel Thor Ragnarok is. It's almost like they had a quota. Okay, in this scene you have to have one awkward and then another moment that I thought would have been so. I actually kind of again started to get a little bit into it, even the second time around, and I forgot this was gonna happen. Where he's fucking talking shit to Valkyrie, and he is well, fucking then go run away from your problems. I like to fucking take my problems head on, and he has that metal ball in his hand, he was because that's what that's what heroes do, and he throws it and it hits him in the head. Mm-hmm. Fucking shit, man! Just break the glass so my dude can fucking leave.
I just picture the angry video game nerd. Every joke you're oh, ass.
Yeah, that's.
There's too many.
That's exactly what ass. It's just there's just too.
You trying to help me now, man?
There's just too many of those.
I think this is another problem that you had with Guardians Volume 2.
Yes.
And we had talked about it. I fucking love Guardians Volume 2, but that and Ragnarok both feel like you say, speak of this joke quota. It does feel like product placement, right? It feels all right, every 3 pages there has to be 3 jokes.
Yeah.
And it's oh, you're gonna break the flow of the story. And there's, as much as I fucking love Guardians Volume 2, there are moments in it. It's I'm a little exhausted. like you don't have to keep going. When Drax laughs too much or whatever, you know,
dude.
Or there's some moments with like Mantis or Rocket
I feel like
or
I'm the only dude in the entire world that didn't think the, you know, I've been standing there this whole time, I'm completely invisible scene wasn't that funny. Like, it was like, oh, that was cute. But people are like, dude, that was really funny.
I think that part is really funny until Mantis goes, hi, Drax, then it kills it.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, we get the joke, and you guys fucking ruined it.
Yeah.
But, I feel like that too. Like, Ragnarok has, like, there's so many jokes, like, when that's what heroes do, and he throws the fucking ball and it hits him in the head. But he didn't do that.
Yeah, I almost feel like Thor Ragnarok was a parody movie of Thor, like almost like it's like a real loose, like
it's so close to it. But there are some moments. I think that fight scene in when he first fights Hulk, I think that fight is pretty well done for someone.
It's
like,
a really
for
good
Taika.
fight scene.
It's really fun to watch, and I would imagine like as a Hulk fan, it kind of sucks. But if we're
even as a Hulk fan, the fight scene's pretty good. Just they don't capture his rage. But it's still a good fight scene.
If we're keeping with continuity, like Thor is a warrior born and bred, he should be able to beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? Like if they're on even playing field as far as like strength goes, he's a warrior. Yeah. So I really like that.
I also going back to that, I do like that part where once he finally realizes that fucking Thor's not gonna stop. I mean, that Hulk's not gonna stop. Thor's like, all right, and he starts like picking the Hulk apart. I love that because that's a Thor fucking moment, and I think this movie doesn't have a lot of Thor moments, you know. But that, like, he fucking takes that big ass hammer and he fucking hits him on the side of the knee and it drops him, and then he just like
breaks his weapon and all that.
Breaks the weapon, you know, and then he like.
And the small cape really worked. I really like the small cape.
I actually kind of dig the small cape
because I've been wanting that for Superman for so long. I remember Superman's cape got longer and longer as the '90s progressed, right? And then it wasn't until All Star Superman that Grant Morrison was, you know, with Frank Quitely saying like, no, we're gonna trim up the cape. It used to be a lot shorter, so like just be a little above or below his butt. And so I've been dying for that. And then the fucking Man of Steel cape like goes under his fucking boots. You know, it's so long. But seeing that Thor, the first thing I thought, I was like, that's how long Superman's cape should be. It looks awesome.
It does look
amazing.
Really
it's so
cool.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, and actually I thought about that too. It was like, man, Superman's cape should be that small. But yeah, I love that Thor starts fucking picking him apart. Boom, boom, boom. You know, he was like almost boxing him, like he's hitting him in the fucking sides and the ribs and shit. Like he's hitting pressure points. Like it was really awesome. It was fantastic.
I think some of those lines are like kind of funny when he's like, "You're embarrassing me. I told him we were friends."
that was funny.
But
that was funny.
A moment right there that I didn't pick up until this last viewing was that, keeping with the character, Thor keeps calling Hulk Banner, and that fucking, you don't call Hulk Banner.
Yeah.
And it isn't like, no Banner, only Hulk. And I was like, oh, that's all a fucking line from the comics. You know what I mean? But it just, the voice doesn't sell it.
But the voice doesn't sell it.
But it is a Hulk moment where he was like, no Banner, older Hulk. You know, like, fucking Banner here, don't call me that.
Yeah. I know they won't fix it. I know they're kind of too knee deep into it, but fuck, they need to fix that voice. Like, if they want to really start.
I'm more interested with all the new stuff that's coming over from Fox. You know, like what are going to be the changes and what's going to roll over and what's going to stay and go. Fucking one of the best lines in that movie though is when Thor is talking to Banner and he's like, "Banner's good in the fight." Is he though?
That actually is fucking hilarious.
So funny.
Even I can't fucking like deny how fucking funny that is. That's is he though? And all I can think about is my dude Eli. Like I see that scene and I'm like, Eli would deliver that. Is he though?
That would be Eli.
So shout out Eli if you're listening to this. Holy shit! Like every time I see that scene, he's like, Banner good in the fight.
Yeah.
Is he though? Like that's too good. I think those are pretty much the beats about this movie that I just can't dig. It was too fucking comical.
And with all that stuff,
the comedy doesn't flow. Like, okay, for example, you know, I've given a million examples on this movie on like where it just undercuts. Okay, so in Guardians 2, the one that I have kind of issues with, I don't necessarily hate it, but I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I love the first one. It has some issues and some pacing problems and too much funny. But the one scene that I really fucking adore is when Drax and Mantis are sitting there and she touches him and she feels all his fucking pain. Yeah, but he's just kind of like,
he's just thinking about his wife and kid.
Yeah, that's all he's thinking about. Yeah. Like he's so like, dude, it's a Tuesday. You know what I mean?
He's just thinking about
and she feels all that pain. That was a perfect scene in a movie muddled with fucking jokes. And I can only think of if it would have been in Ragnarok, like she would have touched him and felt his pain and they were like That's Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That's exactly the joke pacing in Thor Ragnarok. They would have had that awesome scene. She would have felt his pain. Her eyes would have watered, and Drax just been there, and he would have farted, that's fucking Ragnarok to me. Like, you ruined such an awesome moment with a fucking joke.
Yeah,
and they didn't do that in Guardians 2, and I really love that scene. Like,
yeah,
that's one of the scenes that actually saved that movie for me. Because I kind of like the end. The end's okay, but I also feel in Guardians 2 they also knew when to start pulling back from the jokes. You know what I mean?
I think Taika kind of had free reign to do what they wanted. I don't think anybody really kind of had high expectations for a third Thor movie because that wasn't anybody's favorite movie, anybody's favorite character. But with Guardians, it was Guardians. Yeah. You know, so I think James Gunn had a little bit more control and could kind of like pull back a bit, but who knows?
Yeah, for sure. What else? I think that's kind of... I think that is the extent of my gripe for this fucking movie.
After watching it again today, I probably won't have to watch that movie for a little while.
Yeah.
I look forward to whatever Hulk is going to do in the new Avengers movie. You know, like, because something has to happen, but...
Don't even get me started with Infinity War. Yeah. Fucking everything they do with him in that fucking...
And I said that Thor gets some good moments in that movie.
Thor gets some really great moments in that fucking movie.
That scene between him and Rocket, I mean, he's like, well, what more could I lose? That part.
That's really
good.
Like,
that's really good comedy to emotional beat. Like, that's perfect where he goes, he's like, this is Thanos we're talking about. He's the toughest there is. And he goes, well, he hasn't fought me. He goes, yeah, he has. Cuts him off. Shit cracks me up every time and then immediately goes into... what more could I lose? And you almost want to cry.
Yeah.
It's such a great comedy and then drama right next to each other in a way Thor never pulls out. But I feel like Thor never wants to do anything more than tell jokes. Thor Ragnarok, that movie is just there to make you laugh, and it's like an enjoyable. Here, put some popcorn in your lap and have soda and laugh with your friends.
And you know what? And even with like trying to get that through my head, I was like, you know what? Just enjoy it for what it is. It's a popcorn flick, but fucking shit, I just can't.
But they had to use Hulk.
But they had to fuck with Hulk, and so we're pretty much done with this podcast. We're gonna be wrapping up, I'm sure. But let me just also honorable mention fucking furious moment in Infinity War. Where even though comically speaking, it's not the most accurate, when fucking Thanos beats the shit out of Hulk, it didn't bother me. It's like, okay, where are you taking me on this journey? You know what I mean? Fucking Thanos just made Hulk look stupid. You're trying to show the audience how powerful Thanos is in a matter of seconds. In the first 5 minutes. Okay, that's fine. I had no problem with that. That's a lie. I did. Yeah. No, I had a major problem with it.
I'll flip the motherfucking table.
but for what I realized what they were trying to do, because I caught it immediately. It's like, well, how do you've been hyping Thanos up for so fucking long, and this ship and all these people are dead, and it looks like his crew did it. It didn't look like Thanos did it. It looks like these 3 fucking dudes rolling with him did it. So how do you make Thanos scary? You have him fucking cut down the Hulk in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I didn't like it, but that's just because I'm a Hulk fan. Whatever. But the thing that fucking bugs me is that Hulk is so afraid of Thanos that he doesn't like.
He refuses to.
To come out. Like, and I get it. Maybe it's like, okay, well, Bruce, when he's filled with rage, Hulk comes out. Maybe it wasn't rage he was filled with. He's filled with fear. That's why Hulk's not coming out. But the whole like he's throwing a tantrum inside Banner really bugged me. So then I get another movie with just fucking Banner. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And then they put him in the Hulkbuster suit. And I'm like, that doesn't make up for anything. I don't want to see the Hulkbuster suit. I'm sure there's a million people out there like, look at Hulkbuster Banner. And I thought to myself, in a comic book, this would be fucking cool. I could see that splash
in a comic
page.
That would be awesome. It's like, oh shit. You turn the page, and the final page is a fucking splash of Banner in the Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
So comic-wise, it fucking sells. Yeah. Because even just talking about, I'm like, dude, I
could see
lost my shit.
I lose my mind.
But in the movie, again,
because he shows up and then he trips.
And he Ragnaroks. Because here's your excuse. I'm not used to it. I get it,
cave,
but it's also fucking it's tech that moves with you. So
he has 7 PhDs.
Yeah, he has 7 PhDs. How many does Hulk have? 0. Oh, I'm so smart. Code green, guys. I will never give that up. So
Right, like Bruce Banner is one of the most intelligent people on the planet.
Edward Norton, Bruce Banner is perfect. Fucking don't at me. Don't you dare fucking at me. I don't give a shit what you fucking think you fans think. Okay. Edward Norton's Bruce Banner is fucking perfect. Okay. Don't at me.
Okay. Perfect. Who would you cast? Who's the recast?
Not Mark Ruffalo. I don't know who, but not Mark Ruffalo. Bring Eddie Norton back. But I don't know. I don't have a better person in mind. I really fucking don't. But I know it's not Mark Ruffalo. You know.
Yeah, I was always perplexed when I heard that Ruffalo was gonna be Banner in Avengers.
Yeah, I was like, so who's your family member on the producer side? You know what I mean? Like,
or no, what favor are you doing for the producers?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Ruffalo's like, I want to do this.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, but my whole point of bringing up Infinity War, not only all that shit, but the one fucking scene that really bugs me, and if I'm not mistaken, it's when Thor finally comes back and he's all electrocuting and she looks all badass and like. Fucking Banner's thing opens up. It's like, oh, you guys are seriously screwed now, or whatever he says. That just scene. It's like, shut the fuck up, Banner.
He's one of those people that's like, I mean, I don't condone giving people wedgies, but you know, like,
you gotta give Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner a wedgie. Like, I don't condone bullying, but that's the dude you slap him back in the head. Shut the fuck up, Banner.
I don't know why he comes off as annoying. Like, and I don't know if they mean to do that. Like, maybe this version of Bruce is supposed to be that way, like, or maybe it's just us, you know. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think I ever read a Bruce Banner story in a comic book where he was that. Like, he always seems kind of like he's a smart guy and he's kind of not suave, but he's kind of cool. Like,
he's confident enough. I mean, he knows where he stands, like mentally or whatever.
This dude has 7 PhDs. Act like it, not like a fucking like cool green, like fucking. He comes out of the fucking Quinjet with his hands in his palms, like, I'm so human.
Like, okay, so there's back to Jason Aaron, his run on
Quinjet.
So Jason Aaron had a run on boom boom. What was it called? I think it was called Indestructible Hulk, or maybe it was just Incredible Hulk. But Jason Aaron wrote an arc called Stay Angry, right? And this is the Incredible Hulk is trying to stay in Hulk form because every time he turns back to Banner, Banner is sabotaging the Hulk. So it's all told from the Hulk's perspective, and he's trying to stay mad. He needs like Frank Castle shows up, he's like, shoot me in the face, like, I need to stay as the Hulk. And he keeps blacking out, and he's Banner again. And Banner is like a mad scientist in this, like trying to counter the Hulk, but from the Hulk's perspective. Where's that Banner? You know, like, I'd love to see a real like confident, sure, almost mad scientist. You know, it's like he can provide and he can be very valuable, but he's so like, okay, we're in Avengers, the first Avengers, when he's on the Quinjet, the helicarrier, and he's walking and he's like all meek with his hands and he's like you said, it's like a caricature of, you know,
it's a caricature of nerdy weakness.
Oh, yeah, I don't, you know.
Yeah. Like the difference when fucking Mark Ruffalo, I don't remember which movie it is. I think it's maybe the second Avenger movie. I don't know. I don't fucking we'll not check this later. Where he makes the comment is like me on a ship, you know, with like tight fit walls or whatever. And it's like, I get it because he's the Hulk. I think it's in the first Avengers. Yeah. Versus Edward Norton delivering that line. It's like, you know, me in a city of a bunch of aggressive drivers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's almost the same line.
It's almost the exact same line, but one delivers it perfectly, and the other one's like, I'm fucking big nerd guys. You know, and I think it's just, I don't know if that was their vision. Like, no, we want to make Bruce more meager, and you know, he's not sure because he's been the Hulk for so long. He's afraid, and it's like, nah. There's
only one moment I think in the whole run of Ruffalo being Bruce Banner that I really liked, and it's in Avengers when they're on the helicarrier and Captain America, Iron Man, and Bruce are all talking, and he's like a beacon for all mankind. He's like, well, I think that comment was for you, and then Tony gives him like the treat. And he goes into like, why are we here? Why is this thing? You know, like, oh, that's the rational Bruce. That's him using his brain, and he's trying to figure all this shit out.
I feel like that's the one Bruce moment. That was actually a very good Bruce moment because everything else other than that is like, code green guys, like guys, code green. Do you need the Hulk? Like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know. He just the whole portrayal bugs me, and it just really sucks.
Yeah, and like I think I've told you this before. I told other friends this before, that I think that like Chris Hemsworth gets a lot of praise for his comedic timing, but I think he's like mediocre comedic, but he's like a really good looking guy. So most people just don't expect that from him. They're like, oh my god, he's so funny.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, but it's just because he's really good looking. You don't expect that. He's okay.
Yeah.
Like, he can make me laugh sometimes when he delivers a line, but he's not the funniest actor on the planet. And I think some of Thor Ragnarok was like him wanting to be something different, and they kind of made a movie around that, which I don't necessarily mind. You know, like, I'm glad that Hemsworth had some say in the character that he's been portraying, you know, and he's trying to do a good job. But you go from like the lines in the Avengers to the lines in Ragnarok, it's such a different character.
Yeah, I feel it's the funny part, like when you were talking about the haircut thing. So in the first movie, his hair is atrocious. Like, they just didn't know what to do with it, I guess. And in the second movie, I still feel his hair is pretty bad, but it's getting better. And then like Avengers, it has like a weird like hairspray rock, I don't know, like a rock star look almost. It looks really weird. It's like parted one way. It doesn't look good. I feel like in Thor Ragnarok, they finally nailed what his hair should kind of be like. And then they cut it. It's like, ah, like you actually look like Thor now. And then they cut it. But I actually don't mind the cut hair because I think it works more for. Yeah, I mean,
it looks good, and I'm all for, you know, like for change and stuff.
Well, not really just for change, but like
beholden to things, but
visually, because the other ones threw me off.
I feel something like Thor though. It's almost like giving Wolverine a different hairstyle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It like. Banner has a whole bunch of different ones, but all these other characters have a bunch of different ones. But Wolverine, you don't change his hair.
I know, but here's the thing. But and this is where we'll probably disagree. I agree with you that you don't change Wolverine's hair, but if you can't nail it in the movie, then you just fucking cut it down. Like, that first movie is really hard to watch. I'm like, your hair is dumb, like, because they didn't know how to like really. Give him, in the X-Men movies, it's like, it looks so bad.
They went for it, and I'm down for that. Like, oh god, it's bad in part 2, X-Men United. I really like X-Men United. Everybody does. Rewatch it. It's not as good as we might all remember, but I still really love it.
Out of the X-Men movies, it's still... Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's like, I think he's outside Alkaline Lake or something, and his hair, like, it's out of control. It looks terrible.
Oh, where it's like kind of like floppy?
No, it's kind of like, it's really weird. Like, I watched it and I was like... What am I watching?
What Wolverine? I think it was Wolverine Origins. They kind of stopped with the like trying to
do the comic thing.
And they kind of split it and let it kind of fall. Yeah. And I was like, you know what?
It looked good.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. I like where your head's at. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like when you can't pull it off enough. Like I love when you go for it, but you can't pull it off. Just change it. Make him look cool. You know, I think that's why Logan is so fucking wonderful. It's like, we're not going to give him the stupid haircut. It's just like a short-haired,
and
older...
Like I was saying earlier about telling a story through costume design. Like, that was a way to kind of show a change in Thor through his costume. You know, like when he cut his hair and stuff. He's someone new now. He's gone through something.
Yeah.
See, like, it's almost like cuts in his head, you know?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So.
And then the idea that he's enslaved, so, you know, they like...
Yeah, so they strip him of his power, his status, you know?
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's like, that was all fine and dandy, and I'm okay with that. But yeah,
because that's what heroes do.
Bonk. I feel so much pain.
Well, like I said, I probably won't revisit this movie for a while, but I think it's one of the better, the more entertaining, the more kind of imaginative of the MCU. But I definitely see where you're coming from.
And again, you said it earlier, and I want to reiterate it. I like that they went for something. Like, they weren't just going to give us... They didn't give us Dark World.
Yeah.
Like, I like that they went for something. I just wasn't happy with what was delivered. Like, I wasn't happy with the comical. But I do appreciate
They took a fucking shot.
They took a fucking shot. And people did like it. And you know what? That's cool.
Most people do like it.
Yeah. They took a shot. They went with the vision. They didn't half-ass it. They didn't fucking one toe in, one toe out. And I respect that so much. So I respect that movie. I just didn't like it because of some of the creative things. It's just like, oh, and I hate that term, not my whatever.
Yeah, like, it feels ugly coming out of my mouth sometimes. You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, there's also times where I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're.
But you don't
trying
have
to
Superman
say.
snap somebody's fucking neck.
Yeah, not my fucking Superman on that one. Like, that's the one thing in that movie that I really tried to. We need to have a discussion. On that.
Man of Steel.
That's the one thing I really tried to like lie to myself about. It's like, no, that's all he could do. That's all he could do.
And then you think about it for 20 seconds, and you're like, oh, God damn it.
Like, can we just end it right there before the next snap and just fade to black and come back and it's like, whoa, that was an intense fight. I'm glad he's in prison.
Glad we threw his ass into the fan zone.
Fucking shit.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about your gripes with the movie. I'm glad you sat through it. Like, I was kind of surprised. No, not surprised, but I knew it was going to be a rough sit.
No, I was surprised because I was, even before I turned it on, I was like, how can I get out of this? And I was like, maybe I can find on YouTube like a 10-minute, like, everything wrong with Thor, Ragnarok. Like, I'll just watch this and remember all the shit I hate. But I didn't. I sat through it from beginning to end.
And Marcus did that for all of you.
Yes, so. For you 12 people who have been sticking with us. Let's go for 13.
Right. You want to take us out?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this was my shit take on fucking on Thor Ragnarok. I would love to hear comments. I'd like to hear your opinions, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. You want to write a couple of pages in an angry rant, or you want to just fucking send us a thumbs up that you agree. There's always hit us up at EOTI_podcast. That's our Twitter. And endoftheinternetpod@gmail.com. That's our email. Or, of course, you can always just shoot a comment underneath the video. But those are the best ways to get in touch with us. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Or not, if you made it to the very end.
We're not your dad.
Yeah, we're not your dad.
Live your life as you see fit.
Yeah. So.
But for the End of the Internet podcast, my name is Gonzalo.
I am Marcus.
And you reached the end of the episode. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.